It's another First Episode Friday. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Mom.
and welcome to Tansson TV Plus.
Yep, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, we always love doing this, and Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm very excited for us to get into today's video.
Yes, it is another First Episode Friday. And today we're going to talk about the show The Fall Guy.
Yes, I'm very excited for it to air from 1981 to 1986, and Mom, are you able to let us know a little bit about the show in this episode?
Yes, and this is one of the shows that can be wrapped up in one sentence. This show is about a stunt man named Colt Severs, and that is his primary job. However, he is also a bounty hunter. He does this when he's in between acting jobs with his professional career.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and overall, Mom, what were your thoughts about this pilot episode?
You know, Brandon, I really enjoyed this pilot. I was really surprised. I didn't know what to expect. I watched Fall Guy, and by watch, I have to use it loosely, back many years ago. And so I've just seen episodes here and there. For me, the theme song is most memorable, but I've just seen episodes here and there. So I do not remember or recall the first episode. And so it was nice to kind of watch with you this first episode.
Yeah, and what were your thoughts about it?
I thought it was a nice episode. One thing I really enjoyed is that it was easy to watch. It was easy to follow along, and so everything made sense. It started with an initiating point. Colt, as I mentioned, is a stunt double and stuntman, and he had a relative who came to see him named Howie. And this gentleman said that he would like to be with Colt and to kind of see what he does. And so even though Colt is initially doesn't really want him there, but he is a relative, so he kind of lets him tag along. And they kind of they kind of become a little team. But anyway, Colt is, like I said, primary job as a stuntman, but the bounty hunter part is the part that actually is the main part of the series. It kind of focuses on that and how he actually goes to get the bad guys and turn them back in.
Yeah, and I know for me, I definitely enjoyed watching this pilot episode or pilot movie, if you will, which now composes the first two episodes of the series. As we've mentioned before, many of these drama shows do take up a whole 2 episode slot or a pilot movie. So at the very least, if the show doesn't work out in production, that it can at least be a little mini movie.
Yeah, and you could tell that this was a longer production. It looks like a movie.
And something that we've noticed, throughout these is that oftentimes you get a not traditional theme song, but rather an extensive musical sequence throughout, and we definitely got that here.
We did. Lee Majors, who plays Colt Severs, he sang the theme song, and the theme song very memorable for those people who did watch The Fall Guy, and so and it goes through and kind of tells you about Colt's life and what he's actually doing now. And so and the theme song is not only at the beginning of the show, it is for the first episode is throughout the movie.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Mom, what do you think about the theme song?
I love the theme song. I love a long theme song, so I really liked it.
Yeah, and it definitely is very catchy.
It is catchy.
Yeah, I certainly believe it fits right into the show, and the title of the theme song is titled Unknown Stuntman, and it apparently was actually released as a single sometime after the first episode went out.
Yeah, I did read that along with you, Brandon, and I found that fascinating that it was released as a single.
Yeah, so I definitely thought that was pretty cool. I don't know when exactly timeline-wise when the single came out, but that's pretty cool that that did indeed happen.
Yes, it is cool.
And yeah, I feel like it really, like I said, fit with the show, and overall, we got to see many different sides of Colt, from his traditional job to his, which is very untraditional, to his other jobs.
Yes, yeah, very untraditional jobs. You can see the network he's kind of created for himself throughout these jobs. And he does have another, besides his cousin Howie, he does have another person who works with him, or alongside him rather, named Jody. And so Jodie's personality, or her character, was not really explored as much for this first episode. It really was about Colt and Howie. And then Jodie since she is a series regular, I'm sure that there's an episode probably coming up that that's devoted to her.
Yeah, and then we do have another character too, who's sort of like his go-to person uh, for I guess the bounty hunting.
Yeah, someone named Soapy. So she's there too, and she kind of gives him leads on the next person he needs to capture.
Yeah, so definitely we get get a lot of characterization in this, but I really like the sort of bonding between Colt and Howie within this first episode, and just sort of the extent of their connection, and that it seems Colt helped Howie sort of through school, but that Howie, having I guess got a degree, we think. Um,
We're not quite sure of how he has a degree because Howie went to school all over the place, but he never really clarified if he finally got received a degree.
Well, we at least know that he is finished with school for the time being,
Yeah,
having went to all of these different schools for very short periods of time.
yes, with many different majors.
Yeah, no pun intended there. And so, see,
Uh,
but yeah, despite that, I found it interesting because the whole plan that Howie had was to come sort of home to Colt, do the finances and the behind the scenes stuff, and then that they're gonna switch. So he is looking out for Colt because he was like, well, Colt can retire and do the small stuff, whereas Howie can do the stunts, but he has a long way to go before he gets there.
yeah, he does have a long way to go. And then Colt is also somewhat of a teacher, not in the traditional sense, but to Jody, because she does some stunt doubling also.
And he is very precise.
Yes, he is very, very precise with everything that he does.
Yeah, and certainly, physics are not a matter for him because there were a few times where he needed to get to somewhere completely on the other side of town in a very short period of time, but he is able to make it happen. We saw that, I believe, at least 3 times within this pilot.
Yes, yeah,
And Mom,
yeah.
would you continue watching the show?
Yeah, I think I will, Brandon. Now, it won't be often, but I think I will go back and watch a few more episodes. There was a nice little sense of humor that was throughout the movie, and well, this particular first episode. And so, yes, and it's easy. It was very easy to watch. So hopefully, the other episodes are just as easy to watch, also. In which case, I will watch numerous episodes.
Yeah, I likewise would continue watching. I really enjoyed it, and as I've mentioned a few times, in passing, while I'm not per se the biggest fan of pilot movies, just because of how long they feel, is that this one didn't really feel that long. I mean, the length, but it didn't feel like you were sitting there for hours. Like it was an enjoyable watch.
Yeah, it really was, and it is very enjoyable. And so, for those of you who were there, who are looking for something different to watch The Fall Guy. I have not seen the new movie yet, The Fall Guy, which I believe is based upon the TV show, and so I'll have to see if that's something I want to see later.
Yeah, I don't know much about the new movie that had come out a few months ago, but I mean, the very little bits of trailers, which I haven't seen a lot of them, but from the clips, it sounds entertaining. But I'm definitely, we'll look into it and see if that's something we might want to watch, and let us know if you want us to watch it.
Yep, if you want us to watch it, please put a note in the comments, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, and even doing a little bit of research ahead of this discussion is uh, the concept of the show is just so popular that they had even made apparently a board game version of it.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and so it's definitely interesting when you get to see media, especially TV, adapted into uh, different areas, different medias, and so I'd be curious as to which parts, like for the movie that they had adapted from the show. I think it's only loosely based off of it, but watching this pilot made me think. I think you could easily make a movie based off of this concept.
Yep, you sure can. You sure can. Well, and they did. So, yes.
But
All right. And Brandon, as you know, I'm rating some of these movies or TV shows with a rating system of 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. For this one, I would give it a 4, and I'd give it 4, which is equivalent to maybe a B plus.
yeah, I fully agree with you there.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about with this particular series, Brandon?
No, not really. I mean, I really enjoyed watching it, and I definitely will like to see more episodes. It ran for 112 episodes, and yeah, that's not a minor accomplishment. And so I definitely am excited to see more episodes, and you never know. I mean, we're always looking for a new show to watch, and so maybe this will be one of the next shows that we go through.
Yep, it might be. All right. We thank everybody for watching today,
Yes, we definitely do.
and we'll see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
All right. Bye bye, everybody.